So it is the night before we leave. Um, we got everything packed. Um, I think we got everything covered. Um, I'm just didn't sleep very well today. Um, just it's a lot of anxiety going into it. Um, Still have, obviously. I mean, like even going to see a new doctor in town here is any kind of appointment, I guess, in general is, you know, pretty anxiety ridden for me, especially when I know, you know, in advance. It's whether it's an appointment, a job interview, a meeting of some kind. It's always stressful. It's always, especially when I have to, when I've gone through this a million times, it seems like, and no real confidence that this is going to go any differently than any other appointment that I've had. Appointments, I guess. I mean, we're there for a week, which should be fun otherwise. I mean, other than the flying there and having to get up like 6 hours after we get there to go to our first appointment. Once we get past that part of it, I think things will be better. Have a better idea. It's hard to have faith in a medical system that doesn't. I spent most of last night reading over the notes on my medical records from the last few years. Just like their summary, like like my visit and stuff like that, and what they saw, what they perceived, and it just like some of the wording just kind of got to me, I guess, because what I feel is going on, they're not seeing that, and no tests that they're doing backs up anything that I'm saying. So they're just like, oh, you know, I saw a few things where they put like things in like quotation marks, like like the symptoms I was having like in quotation marks. Like I've seen a few of those, and that kind of bothered me. It's like that's actively saying right there that you don't believe, you know, that this is just like an assumption on my part. This is just like me being like a hypochondriac, and I guess it kind of bothers me still. It's why I never wanted to go back after 2017. After I had, the 6, 7, 8 ER visits, I didn't really want to go back, and you know, I made it a while. You know, made it. What was it? 2 years, a little over 2 years. So having to go to the ER, just because I kept putting it off, and once I got in the habit of like going to my doctor, getting referrals to specialists, it was easier not to have to go to the ER. Because back then it was just like, oh, just go to the ER and just they'll find it eventually if you just keep going to the ER, and that's not what the ER is for. The more you do that, the more they're gonna see your record and your file and be like, okay, he's got some issues. Um, there's a lot of stuff on there that it's just it looks like my entire medical record, no matter what I was in for, every single doctor noted it. How my anxiety was high. I was nervous. I was So it's like they immediately just put me in that pigeonhole, and it was always noting the alcohol problem or the drug problem. It wasn't the drug problem. It was never a drug problem. You know, it was addiction, and most of it was just drinking, to not feel that way. I needed medication at the time. Probably still do. Um, in general, um, I just don't believe that anybody's gonna look at that medical record. It's like 300 pages of it, and like looking back to the night I first got admitted in May of 2017, where like the whole reason they kept me overnight, and I didn't understand this. I guess they talked to me. They noted that they talked to me about it, and I okayed it for me to stay overnight. And the reason they kept me was I was retaining urine. I wasn't going to the bathroom, and my bladder was severely distended. And that's why I was kept. Like the whole, I didn't really, my perception of time and like a lot of those things, my perception of pretty much everything that evening and that next day were pretty off. Um, and I don't really remember having that conversation. I don't remember them telling me why they were keeping me. I didn't find out until I was in the ER months later, and one of the nurses that had to deal with me and my agitation and my behavior that night, she just kind of openly told one of the other nurses that was with me that night, like in front of me, like why they kept me overnight. I had no idea why they kept me. That was news to me. But like I was reading the report on that day, and it's like, oh, he comes in, you know, saying he's shaky, which was completely off. You know, the I was having an episode. I was laying on the floor. The EMTs got to my door. They helped me up, brought me out to the ambulance. I was fine in the ambulance until I got off the ambulance and started like walking again, and then it hit me again, and I was on the table, and I kind of lose track of my memory at that point. Um, my my initial heart rate when I first checked in was like 156. You know, just laying there, and that wasn't from an anxiety attack. That was just my fight or flight mode going on and off like it has been since. That was just what had knocked me off my feet to begin with, and I didn't understand what it was. Um, and they had to put me on the guardrails up on the bed. They gave me a wristband that said fall risk on it. The whole 9 yards. Like they put two blankets on top of me to keep me still, while giving me lorazepam to, get me to calm down and get my body to stop doing what it was doing. But the way they noted in the report is I was shaky. I was claiming that, and I'm like, I wasn't claiming anything. It was pretty visible. Like I couldn't even walk. That's why I couldn't go to the bathroom. It just, I guess, I had to get that off my chest because that was after I read that. Um, I guess looking for any more details I might have missed, over the summarized briefings on my chart. I guess I'm glad I looked. I'm hoping, this doesn't just go with me trying to explain all this stuff to these guys at Mayo, and they're just like, oh, well, have you thought about seeing a psychiatrist, Mr. Emery? I wish it was psychological. I really do. I'm tired. I'm tired of making these appointments. I'm tired of making trips. I'm tired of doing all this. So I'm hoping um, that this trip is worth every cent that we're spending on it. Worth all the time we're taking off. Worth the time away from our babies, our cats here. I mean, yeah, I needed to get out of town for a while. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad to get to a different city for a week. You know, but we'll see. As of now, um, I'm probably gonna be up the whole night again. Um, we'll see. Emma's not home yet. Can keep myself distracted, play some games. Just enjoy ourselves. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think right now. Just I Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator just came out, and I happened to come out yesterday, and I wanted to give it a shot, and getting really good reviews. My system can't handle it very well, but it's very realistic and very very interesting. So I think I'll practice a few more flights, from here to there, in different areas. It's really like it takes you as long to fly as it would in real life. So if it takes like an hour to fly somewhere in real life, it's gonna take you an hour in the game too, which is very nice and time killing. It's very something I've been doing the last 24 hours, getting that set up and running, and be cool if I had some actual controls for it, but instead of the controller and my mouse and keyboard. But I think that's my goal. So I will probably check in again from the airport, maybe from the plane. I'm not sure. Obviously when we get to Minneapolis and get off, I'll probably do another one there too. Shorter ones, obviously, not these 20-minute videos, but just had to get a few things off my chest. I don't like having to type all this out on Facebook all the time and having people, like, why is he typing so much all the time? Why is he, going on and on and on? I can just do it in a video that no one's going to watch. It's a little bit easier. Feels like I'm talking to somebody, in case anyone actually does come back here and watch us, at some point. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. I will catch you guys later.